Hello my friends, one throw, one kill. We've seen it everywhere, in the movies, in the video games. Is it fact or is it myth? Today I will describe it in the several points. We have also the ballistic gel for some tests, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with these AceJet knives. So, let's get started. So what is going on in those movies or the video games? You all the time see the hero or the bad guy, he just grabbed the knife and instantly hitting the target, always with the point first, and stick it with no problem. Guys, I have to say, even I'm the good thrower, nobody can do it right away instinctive with a full spin rotation just like that in the combat scenario. Because when the knife rotates, it's very difficult to predict how many rotation you need from the target. So for example, like I don't know if this is good distance, problem to stick it. I am from like here, again, no sticking from the target. So that's the first thing you can see in the movie, that it's total nonsense, alright? They hit the enemy from the unknown distance and he instantly is dead right away. So first of all, this is really nonsense because you can't stick full spin right away with the instinctive method. No spin, when the knife flies straight like an arrow, that would be totally different conversation. If that would be portrayed in the movie, like there is some hero just throwing no spin in the combat scenario, that would, I would say, it's definitely more realistic, but definitely not when the knife is spinning, alright? No spin is definitely way better in these combat scenarios. But if you never threw a knife in your life, you have no idea how dangerous knife throwing actually is. It could be totally safe, but the rebounces could be very scary from the target. They can hit you and you can have serious problems. So you can only imagine if I will throw to somebody, you know, it could hit just with the handle and you can easily break bones with the full power. You don't have to stick it with the point first. But if you are going to hit with the point first, let's see on the target, we can see it from the closer distance. Look, I will throw just very, very lightly. Look at that. Try to imagine this pierced anywhere in your body part. This is about 3 inches of penetration, and I wasn't even trying much, but let's say I'm putting my whole force into the throw and it's totally different. Look at that. Now, we buried the whole tip inside, so this is devastating. But let's say I will throw it just with the handle. This would also make serious damage. Look at that, guys. So you can only imagine if I was able to stick it with the other side, this is going to make very serious damage anywhere on the body as well. So actual combat throwing was never meant to kill somebody on the first throw. It was always for the destruction, self-defense purposes, so you are able to run away or follow up with another attack. But how you can actually achieve the power, or who is the powerful knife thrower? In the movies, like I said, you see they sticking with all the time, but in the reality you need years and years of serious practice, because from the beginning it somehow look like this, you know, and your knives are barely sticking into the target. That was pretty good throw, but it takes years to develop the whole proper body movement and the release at the right time. So it's definitely very complicated to achieve very high power in knife throwing. So in those movies, if he's portrayed like a super expert thrower, like it was with in the movie in the Desperado, so that would be maybe reality, but otherwise I would say definitely not. In the movies, you definitely see that the thrower is super accurate. He always hits in the neck, into the eye. But again, for that, you have to be so skilled, guys, and it takes years and years to achieve accuracy from the longer distances or even from the close ones. Because if I would be in the combat scenario and I can't throw, I hold my knife for the first time, I would just throw it randomly and it's not gonna stick. But if I know what I'm doing, I did this throwing many thousands of times, I know I can exactly hit that paper in the side of the head, really no problem. So this gives you big advantage for the accuracy and combat throwing if you are able to be accurate. And if we are talking about it, only way to put someone down in one throw, I would say, is to be super accurate and to hit some vital point, if we are talking about in theory in the movie. But in the video games, I'm sure that you know that it's so overpowered. Knife throwing is so overpowered because when it hits someone, it's like instant death. So in this case, it's definitely nonsense. In movies or the video games, you always see different types of throwing knives, and it's also the same in the real life. So I took a lot of examples from the AceJet, but we also have some random knives. So this one, you are able to see similar, like in many movies, they throw these small knives, small kunais, and they always make crazy damage, crazy penetration. But the lighter knife you throw, the less penetration it's going to make, less damage. So if you see in the movie when they throw like a very small knife and it instantly is killing the enemy, like in the Desperado movie, it's total nonsense, alright? But if I am taking something way bigger, like this AceJet Night Dagger, imagine how deep this can go. If doesn't stopping like a bone or something, if this is hitting just the flesh, it's penetrating all the way. We have to see something on the Ballistic Gel. So this will give you idea that different type of the point is going to make different penetration. Let's check it out right now. I have this original kunai that Master Jakub gave me, and we can compare it right away with this AceJet Stinger. So check it out, guys. I will throw first this kunai. Pretty nice actually, pretty deep. So let's see. Look at that. The kunai actually stuck pretty deep, but it's still not that deep as going to be on the Stinger, because look at that. If it's wider, it's going to penetrate way less. But if you have like this tip, like we've seen before, the penetration, it's really insane. So it's definitely always gonna depend which knife you are using. But I have to tell you, if you are going to speak in reality, the most deaths and most accidents actually happened with knife like this. It was some kind of fight between the persons. One got super angry and just chuck it at somebody, and with unlucky or somehow the other person got hit and maybe bled out. So in this way, one throw, one kill actually happened, and several times in history, but more likely with these kitchen knives. You're not gonna see beginner throwers using professional knives. I mean, beginner throwers, yes, but not somebody that is like randomly, you're not gonna discover it like by chance in your supermarket, all right? This is very easy to get, and it's basically anywhere, right? So let's talk about injuries that can happen with knife throwing. So there are minor, medium, and I would say very serious injuries. So for the minor injuries, I would say maybe knife can cut you a little bit, some bursts from the steel, maybe knife can rebound. You know, those could be small things. Medium, it could be that knife already hit you somewhere in your body, maybe you have to put some tape, you know, so you are not bleeding. And the serious injuries can also happen, guys. If the knife will rebound, it can hit you easily into the eye, into the face, into the neck. So you have to always keep this in mind, even if you are throwing just by yourself. So you can only imagine, because now I was talking about what can happen to you if you are throwing like only on the target. But if you are throwing against the enemy or like it's portrayed in the movie, it's actually super dangerous and very powerful, like we have seen in the previous points. And now it's time for the Ballistic Gel Test. We have a lot of knives, so I will start from the smallest one and we will go to the bigger blades. So the small kunai go first. Look at that. So like I mentioned before, the less weight that you have on the blade, the less it's going to penetrate. Look at that, guys. Very little penetration. So once again, if you see this in the movie, you can call it out, it's total nonsense. Now the kitchen knife with the no spin technique. So even the kitchen knife is very light, you can achieve very serious injury and the penetration. Like I mentioned before, these were used in the actual murders, so very dangerous, and you have to keep in mind that this could also break very easily, so it can hit you. So keep that in mind and be very careful with this. You often see this knife on my channel. It's Glock 78 used by Austrian Army. Let's try it with a no spin technique on the Ballistic Gel. Ooh, beautiful throw, look at that, guys. So let's see the penetration, look from the side, very nice. Look at that. Ooh, very nice. Now the AceJet Appache model. Let's see with the different shape how deep it's going to go. Not so bad. Let's see. Yeah, still pretty nice penetration. Now the heavy kunai from Master Jakub. Ooh. Ah, look at that, guys. That's what I was saying. If the tip is very broad, it's not going to stick well. So look at that. The kunai is actually falling off, so it was stuck just a little bit. Now let's compare it with the straight tip. So now the Stinger model. Wow, look at that. A little bit lower on the Ballistic Gel, but look at it, guys. Penetration very deep. Actually, if you remember and we could compare it, that was very similar like I was throwing into the wood before. So you can see if your power is right, the penetration is actually really insane. And let's finish it with this night dagger, and I think this one will go crazy deep, but let's find out. Oh my god, look at that guys from the top, if you can see that. So actually the tip of the dagger is in the more like half of the ballistic gelatin, and I even think that we were a little bit stuck by the wood, but not a bad throw, so let's see. Oh my god, look at that. So this is definitely insane penetration. And I think this dagger, it would be in the movie, it's definitely one throw, one kill. Alright guys, so let's summarize it. Video games and movies, it's always gonna be the same story. But today, you were able to see that knife throwing could be super dangerous for you and also for somebody else. So always keep that in mind, be super careful, and rather have knife throwing just for the fun, for the hobby, for the sport, rather than some like a self-defense tool. Alright? And if you want to support the channel and get some blades that you have seen today, definitely check out link in the description below for the AceJet website. But for today, that's it. So thank you buddy for watching, share, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.